Alright, so I made a short talking about that games need to be weird, and I stand by that. I feel like as time's gone by, mainstream gaming is missing something. There's a lot of things wrong with the gaming sphere, especially with the publishers and the people who are writing the check having the final say on what should happen in a game. And those kind of people need to stay the hell out. But that's a discussion for a different video. Today, we're gonna be talking about why games need to be weird. Now, when talking about being weird in gaming, I'm not talking about the creepy weird. Fuck those games. They need to stay in the corner until they realize they've gone to the far extreme when it comes to that. The kind of weird I'm talking about is the goofy weird. Games that look at a concept and say, yeah, you know what, let's run with this and see what happens. Games that are unabashedly themselves. And that's something that's fading in AAA gaming. If you look at AAA gaming, there is a constant need to sell extremely well, to make that money by doing some really scummy practice, offering DLCs that will complete a game when it was released in a half-baked state, or either force a player to buy in-game currency to customize your experience that you want for a game. If your end goal in the world of entertainment and art is to make money, I'm sorry, but that is not the field for you. Money should not be the sole motivator when making art. I mean, money is unfortunately a poison necessity. You gotta have some money to pay your bills, eat, get clothes, food, water, and a place to live. But there's no need to go to the extreme of cultivating a giant pile of cash that would make Scrooge McDuck jealous. That's not healthy! Video games should be about entertainment, to express an idea, theme, or thought, to convey an emotion, to tell a story, or, you know, like the subject of this video, being weird. It feels like the AAA games are kind of afraid of making weird games, that being a millimeter off from the formula they optimized to make a best-selling game would be a bad one. And that sucks, because no one's allowed to experiment or go off the beaten path and try something new. If a mainstream game does go a little weird and doesn't meet the ungodly standards that these people in suits are setting up for them, they're pretty much screwed. And that's not good for any art or entertainment. Those two things thrive on creativity and experimentation. They need to constantly evolve and try something new, otherwise they will rot and die. And honestly, other parts in the vast field of video games is keeping that fire alive. Smaller studios are putting out bangers of games and showing AAA how it's done. Games like Blueprints, Expedition 33, South of Midnight, Date Everything, and other incredible games that have been made by smaller studios. They're all showing that you can be successful by being a little weird. And that's only listing the examples that are on the top of my head right now. I'm sure there are other smaller studios out there showing off these amazing games that I have never heard of, and showing that you can do all this with the freedom of creativity and being weird. When looking back on older games, it feels like they haven't fallen in that trap they dug themselves into. They do their best to make a game with the intention of someone having fun with it and share the experience that the developers want them to have. There's an old saying in creative spaces that there are no new original ideas, just people rehashing the same thing over and over. And it can feel like that with business people trying to sell a formula to make the most monetizable game out there. And that idea needs to go in a trash can, be launched into space, get sucked in a black hole, go into another dimension, and have the alternate person of that world that was sent from burn it and kick it to another dimension. Feel me? That mindset is a cancer, and it's going to kill the thing that we love. And I don't want that happening in gaming. I don't want that to happen to any creative medium out there. I want all of us to succeed and continue with the things that give us joy, to let us escape from the world a little bit, and for ourselves to be goofy while we're at it. We need that in our video games, because that's how we keep moving forward. At least, that's my opinion. I'm not the be and end all when it comes to these things. I don't know much about the insides of game development and such, so I might be wrong on a few things. And if I'm wrong, go ahead and call me out in the comments and correct me, or express your thoughts about the subject in the comments. I just wanted to ramble and express my thoughts on something that I've been noticing with mainstream gaming. So yeah, let gaming be weird again.